last Western painting video that I did, the painting that I did in 299 days, one of the most frequent comments I got on there was how people enjoyed the story and the narration that I did on that video. And I kind of wanted to do something similar and kind of tell you what's been going on in my life since then. This was another of one of my most challenging paintings because it challenged me in a way that I really need as an artist, which is I have a tendency to want to just kind of copy a reference photo and not really experiment on my own. And I'm critical of myself when I'm doing that because I'm not really being that much of an artist, because my opinion and my view of an artist is someone who can create something that you cannot get with a photo. You cannot get that realism. You can get the realism in a painting, but there's something else in there that captures a fantasy element and a magical element in a painting that you just can't get with a photo. And if you're trying to copy the photo exactly, you're going to be losing that. And so I'm very critical of myself when I'm painting, because I have a tendency to lean too heavily on that. So this was another painting that I did that was very, very stretching, as it were, of my comfort zone to try to encompass something that was much more difficult for me. I did use a bunch of different reference photos in this painting like I did last time, and the sky, the mountains, the foreground, and the close-up rock are all different photos. Trying to blend all of those together is very difficult, and make them all fit in the same painting and make them look like the light source is coming from the same direction it's a very challenging thing. But I felt like I did a okay job on this one, and it was a great learning experience for me. But in the meantime in the time between these paintings, I have a few things have been going on in my life. I've been trying to obviously grow my YouTube channel, grow the things that I'm involved in as far as paint. I actually entered into a wildlife competition, and I actually posted that video, one of my last videos. That was a really cool experience because that was something that I could have like a direct representation of my art stacked up against a lot of other artists. And it was a really cool experience because a lot of the artists that competed in that competition were from out of state. Some Louisiana, Georgia, different states that came down to participate in my local, it's my local art gallery. It's like the town right over. And a lot of people from other states came down and competed in it. It was a really, really fun experience. And I placed third in the competition, and there was a lot of other paintings that I personally felt like were better than mine and should have placed higher than mine. But anyway, it was whatever the judge wanted to place in the top, and I was grateful to be selected in the top 5. But anyway, that was one of the experiences that really kind of changed a lot about the way I presented the painting. And I would have done it differently if I had been more serious about it, but I was, if you've watched that other video, you know that I was mainly doing it to surprise my sister, which eventually failed anyway, and that didn't really matter. But I would have kind of approached that a little bit differently, and if they do it next year, which I do believe they do, or they will, I will be kind of approaching it a little bit more seriously and on a more professional level, and trying to paint something that's very that will compete a little bit better. But anyway, the advantage that you have when you can paint on a regular basis, and this is the disadvantage that you have if you don't paint for a while. And I did take a little bit of a break after I painted this painting, because on a project like this that you're painting, you get bogged down, and painting scenes, mountains, just endless crevices, and trying to make sure the light's hitting correctly and adjusting value and shadows and highlights to fit into the whole scene. That sort of thing can get very tiring. Hey, sweetie, I'm trying to do a voiceover on a video. Can I call you back? Matthew, stop whining. Be a good boy. Yep, that's what I need you to be. Yep, I need you to be a good boy. All right, I love you. Bye. You can get really bogged down with all of that, and it kind of starts turning into a job more than anything else. And so I did take a little bit of a break. But the advantage that you have if you paint on a regular basis and you kind of stick at it is you start learning and little skills like color matching, color blending, the undercoats, the stages of painting, like your layering, become second nature, and you don't have to relearn those every single time you pick up your brush. And that is a great advantage that you can have if you keep painting all the time. And it will keep you from doing things like I did in this painting, where I would lay down a base color for something and then be like, that's not even remotely the color that I need. And I actually need a purple hue on these shadows of the mountains. Or I need a golden, a more red rocks color on the highlights of the mountains, and it needs to fade into a more brown stone as it goes further away from the light source, and how to get that coloring. And so if you are an artist and you paint on a regular basis, I would definitely encourage you to do that. But the art competition that I did was an interesting situation for me, because I had never done something like that before, and it was really cool to see other artists and their work that I don't really get to see on a normal basis, because I don't spend a lot of time on social media or those sorts of things looking at other people's work. I kind of focus on what I want to do, and it was really cool to see other people and how they did things. And one of the artists that was there, I was marveling at how just immaculate his background was, and it was like this really, really amazing blurred background with like trees and a river or a pond, and it came up to the foreground where he had his main subject matter. And I was like, how in the world did you get that background to be that smooth? And he was like, well, I airbrushed it. And I'm like, well, that's a really interesting way to do it. I don't know if that's cheating. But then I'm sitting there going, no one knows that you're airbrushing it, and it's not like that's not a acceptable form of media. So, I mean, maybe that's something I need to try. Who knows? I don't know. But I thought that was really interesting. But in the time that I've been since that last painting, I kind of wanted to go over a little bit of my life and what's been going on. So the last time we talked in that other video, we had one child, and in the meantime, we got pregnant and we were expecting another child, but then sadly we had a miscarriage, and that was a very difficult time in our marriage and in my life. And it's one of those things that you don't really realize is so painful until you're experiencing it, because most people don't talk about it. And the other thing we found was that so many other people have gone through that, but they never talk about it. And it was kind of a strange experience, because it was one of those things where it was like, you lose a child, and everyone says that's like the most painful thing a parent can go through, and it is. But then we kind of have this separate category of where miscarriages line up, and it is slightly different because you don't really have that child to really experience, because we are very physical beings, and we operate very much in a physical sense. So if we can't feel, smell, touch something, it's almost not real to us. But it is in the sense of losing a child like that. But that was a very hard season in our life, and hopefully we'll be blessed with another child in the future. But that was probably, from the time of filming this, probably almost a year ago. And I was given a new respect for the things that I have, and for what God has given me, and the blessings that we have in our life. And you never realize how good you have it until something is taken away. and some form of your life is taken away from you, and then you're like, oh, I should have appreciated that more. And I have a greater appreciation for people who go through this, and I can empathize with them now because I know how painful it is, and it was something I wasn't expecting to be as traumatic as it was. But God is good, and we've been blessed, even though we go through hard times sometimes. And one of the cool things that has happened is potentially, hopefully, in the near future, we'll be able to have our own property and build land or build a house on it. And so that's kind of a little bit of what's been going on in my life. And other than that, it's been kind of normal. Nothing really crazy has been happening. But even if something doesn't happen that's really, really amazing in your life, something that I've been thinking about is we have an amazing opportunity and an amazing, what's the word I'm looking for? We're very blessed to be living in a time that we're living in. And a lot of people in our country and a lot of people in our world are always focusing on the negative and complaining about the state of things and how terrible this is. But if you really back up and you think about people who had to live 100, 200, 300, 400 years ago, just from now, and the comforts and the luxuries that the average people have nowadays are so much farther, so much better than the richest people in the world 200-300 years ago, and how grateful we should be of all the things that we have. And even though life can sometimes seem boring, it's one of those things where it's like, you know what, we are so blessed to be in this world right now with the technological advances that we have, and to start kind of focusing on being thankful for what we have and being more appreciative of the things that we have on a daily basis, and you will start enjoying them more. Just enjoy life. And I know that at the time of filming this video, we've got an election coming up tomorrow, and I'm a very conservative person, and I'm going to be voting on a conservative basis. But even though a lot of people get all crazy about politics and elections and stuff like that, in the grand scheme of things, we have it made. Like, we have so much to be thankful for, and so much that we take for granted that people 300 years ago would kill to have. And I think it's important to always kind of revisit that and check yourself and say, hey, this is something that's really, really, really good that we take for granted, and let's not take that for granted. But anyway, enough rambling. My dream and my hope for my art career and painting and trying to kind of make this something I do on a regular basis is to be a full-time artist. That's kind of my dream. I've always wanted to be completely self-sustained. So if I could be self-sustained in things that I enjoy doing, then you're not really working. And even though I know that eventually the painting would kind of become kind of a job, it's still enjoyable for me and something that I enjoy doing. But my dream is to be completely self-sustained and not have to go to a 9-to-5. But I said that for the longest time, but then I got into this job that I'm in right now, where I'm in jewelry working and jewelry making, and I enjoy it so much that I'm like, you know what, I'm not sure if I actually want to quit this job because it's so enjoyable. But who knows? The interesting thing about this is I've found that it's so difficult to get into galleries and to actually have your art exhibited that I've actually found it easier to try to go on my own and do YouTube and kind of portray my paintings and share my paintings with my audience that way and sell them that way, that I found it easier to do that than to try to get into a gallery. Because most of the time, art galleries are not really looking for new artists, or at least I haven't found the ones that are looking for new artists. And it's like pulling teeth trying to get into a gallery. But one day I hope that I will be well known enough where I don't need to be in a gallery, even though galleries present a level of professionalism and a level of, I guess, stability for an artist. And I heard a art gallery manager, I guess that's who she was, explained it to me this way. People expect, especially art collectors, they expect their art to go up in value. If they buy a piece of art, they are expecting that art to go up in value. They're looking at it as an investment rather than just liking the painting. Most art collectors are not buying paintings specifically because they love the painting. Now, that's definitely happening all the time, but they're looking at it also as an investment. And a solo artist that's on its own, that just paints just on their own, they don't have any credibility, as it were, that a art gallery can present. And an art gallery can give you that status in the art world that other galleries or just doing it by yourself can't do. Now, there are some exceptions to that rule, where if you get big enough and well known enough on your own, you have established that stability and credibility on your own, which is kind of what I'm trying to do with YouTube and painting and my own website and stuff like that. And one of those things is actually trying to make my website much better, which is what I'm doing right now. I'm actually building out a new website and trying to make it more professional. And that's a very difficult process, especially if you don't work on websites. It can be very annoying and kind of arduous, and the process is very slow, but I'm working on that right now. And one of the reasons why I'm doing that is when I first started painting, I had like 3 different things that I would like. My brand was all over the place. Like, I didn't have a brand, and I was trying to figure out my brand. So I started out with Kempter Canvas, but then I did that for a while. I had my website is kemptercanvas.com, and then I was going to make my YouTube that, but then I was like, you know what? I don't think I'm going to do that, because that's not something that, like, it just didn't seem like that was going to be the greatest idea. So I just went with my name, because I was already kind of well known from my band days and music, and I could use my popularity in that regard to kind of help me kickstart my thing. And it worked, because the way the YouTube algorithm works is the traffic will be pulled from anyone typing in Kempter. It will add my channel into that search, and my other band YouTube channel, which was rather large, was the Kempters. So if my name is part of my name is Kempter, then it's going to be popping that up. So the YouTube algorithm is working for you. And my channel has had a relatively decent success. And recently I've decided that I'm going to completely phase out Kempter Canvas completely. And I didn't really feel that really captured what I do, because I don't just do painting. I do jewelry working, I do music, I do a plethora of other things that I just didn't feel like a channel specifically about painting would be able to hold. And if you watch my channel, you'll see that there's more than just painting on my channel, and that's kind of what I do. But the reason why I'm saying that is because the new website that I'm building is just chriskempter.com, and you can't find it right now. You may, depending on when you're watching this video, but you can't find it right now because I'm building it. But it'll be active soon. And I've been really working on trying to make my website more professional, because I was in the process of, when I was building my website, I came across this video of this guy. I've never seen it before. The video hardly had any views on it, so he probably was a pretty new channel. And he was doing like a review on me, and he went through my YouTube, he went through my Facebook, he went through my website and all of it, and he was kind of giving critiques and talking about what I should change, and like an art critic review thing. And it was actually really good, and I was surprised. I was like, wow, this guy actually has some good points. And I agreed with some of the things, and I'm actually going to implement some of the things that he suggested. So whoever you are, I listened to that video, and I thought it was very good, just by the way. But anyway, so that's something that I've been trying to work on, is trying to make my paintings and my presence and my brand more professional and more easy to find. And so my professional Facebook page, where I'm going to be posting my videos and my art and stuff like that, is going to be Chris Kempter Art. It's going to kind of reflect what I'm doing here, because my YouTube channel has been the thing that I've been most successful with, and I've been super blessed with the amount of engagement and the amount of people that have supported me and subscribed to my channel, and I appreciate all of you guys, and it's been really, really cool. And if you guys are interested in paintings, commissions, things like that, please get in contact with me. Please send me some reference photos if you're wanting to have me paint some paintings, because that's kind of my goal. Is I want to be an artist. I want to be self-sustained, and if you guys are interested in that, then I'm always open to doing commissions. And if you have ideas of certain kinds of videos that you like, or paintings that you like to see, or something you're more likely to buy, something along those lines, then let me know, because I'm always looking for subject matter that is more popular, because I have a tendency to paint things that I like, and typically that's not really what sells, and I'm trying to blend those two together to where I can actually make a living off doing this. And so if you have any ideas, I'm definitely be interested in hearing your perspective. But anyway, this painting was very difficult for me in the respect that it was very challenging, just like the other Western painting. Now, I really enjoy Western paintings, and this is something that I'm probably going to be doing more of, but this was probably, I would say, my most difficult painting and most challenging. And I felt like it came out relatively well, but I'm always my own worst critic, and so I have a tendency to do that with my own paintings. But anyway, go check out my website, KempterCanvas.com right now, but shortly it will be chriskempter.com, and soon, if you click on Kempter Canvas, it will just take you to my other website. So either one of those will work. I'm going to link those two domains together, so if you do click on Kempter Canvas, then it will take you to Chris Kempter. But my new website is going to be chriskempter.com, where I'm going to have a more professional looking presence than I do on Kempter Canvas. But prints of this painting are available on my website, and also a lot of other prints are going to be available on chriskempter.com. So go there, go check out my prints. They're pretty affordable, and I think I have a lot of paintings on my prints page that I don't have the originals for sale, because my originals go pretty quick, and so a lot of people can't buy them. But I wanted to have my full gallery available in print form for anybody who would be interested in that. And so, like I said, if you guys have any suggestions of paintings you want me to paint, or things along those lines, just let me know, and I will be definitely happy to kind of lean in that direction, because I'm always looking for different things and new things to paint. But anyway, please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching, and yeah, go check out my new website. Go check out my Facebook page. Send me messages, and we'll talk. But thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video.